My fiancé slept with my childhood best friend for 3 months before he realized she was engaged to me. He texted me when he saw our photo on her fridge. We met, planned everything, took her on a fresh start picnic 50 miles from town. While she was unpacking, I drove off. No food, no water, no signal. 2 days later, she called me crying and screaming. My name's Mark. I'm 28. Until a few weeks ago, I thought I was getting married to the woman I'd spend the rest of my life with. Her name is Lana. We'd been together for almost 4 years, engaged for 1, living together for 3. Everything in our shared apartment, from the furniture to the fridge magnets, looked like a cozy life in progress. The kind of life people envy from a distance. One Thursday evening, while I was cleaning up the kitchen after work, I heard my phone buzz on the countertop. Unknown number. At first, I thought it was spam. Then I saw the message. Hey man, I think we need to talk. This is Tyler. I froze. Tyler hadn't messaged me in years. We used to be best friends growing up, inseparable from kindergarten through high school. But life happened. We drifted apart after college. Last I heard, he'd moved 2 cities over and started working in real estate. I replied, Tyler? What's going on? A few seconds passed. Then came the punch. I think I've been seeing your fiancée. Her name is Lana, right? Everything stopped. I sat down, stared at the screen, reread it over and over. My heart was thudding in my ears. I didn't even know how to respond. He followed up. I didn't know she was engaged. She never told me. I saw your photo on her fridge when I was over. You were in a tux. She was in a white dress. Thought it was a wedding pic. Then I realized that was an engagement shoot. Right. He was right. The framed picture had been on the fridge since January. It was the same one we used for our save the dates. I hadn't thought twice about it until that moment. I didn't accuse him. I didn't rage. I just asked, when did this start? He answered, 3 months ago. She told me her name was Lana, said she was single, just getting out of a relationship. She said she lived alone, but we always went to my place. I never once saw a sign of another guy, until that picture. I asked him to meet in person. We agreed on a coffee shop downtown the next day. I didn't tell Lana anything. I pretended everything was fine. The next morning, I showed up 10 minutes early. Tyler was already there, sitting at a corner table. When I walked in, he stood up slowly like he wasn't sure how I'd react. We hadn't seen each other in nearly 6 years, and now here we were, bonded again over something sickening. He brought his phone. He had screenshots, messages, photos, voice notes, dates, everything lined up. On the weekend, I had flown to Denver for a work retreat. She had texted me late at night claiming she missed me and was watching reruns of Friends with a glass of wine. That same night, she was at Tyler's apartment, drinking tequila and telling him she'd never been happier being finally free. There were even selfies she had taken in his hoodie. Another weekend, she told me she was staying at her friend Natalie's place for a girls' night. That was when she had taken a mini road trip with Tyler to the lake. They'd rented a kayak. There was a timestamped picture of her holding a sandwich, wearing sunglasses that used to belong to me. I felt physically sick. But still, I didn't lash out. Tyler was just as shocked as I was. He said she'd been distant the past few weeks, like she was hiding something. And when he saw the fridge photo, he went completely cold. He looked up my name through social media, found our engagement page, and realized the full story. He had no idea. And honestly, I believed him. We spent hours going over everything. Timeline overlaps. Messages. Excuses she gave both of us. She had been juggling 2 lives and doing it with enough confidence to fool everyone. At one point, Tyler said, I know this is going to sound insane, but I don't want to just let this go. I knew exactly what he meant. We had both been humiliated, lied to, played, not just by anyone, but by someone I was going to marry. Someone I had trusted with bank passwords, insurance info, family secrets. Someone I had defended when friends said she seemed too polished to be real. I remembered once, my sister had pulled me aside after dinner and asked if Lana was genuine. I had brushed it off. Now it all made sense. We sat in that coffee shop until the sun went down. By the end of it, we didn't just have receipts. We had a plan. We wouldn't scream. We wouldn't fight. We wouldn't post anything online. Not yet. We'd play the same game she did. Calm. Convincing. Quiet. The only difference? We'd ended on our terms. When I walked back into our apartment that evening, Lana was on the couch, legs tucked under a blanket, scrolling through her phone. She smiled when she saw me, reached up for a hug like nothing had happened. I played my part perfectly. I kissed her on the forehead, asked how her day had been, complimented the smell of the candles she lit. She offered to order Thai food. I told her I missed her too much for takeout and offered to cook. That night, while she was in the shower, I stood in the kitchen, watching water boil, thinking about how easy it is to live beside someone you never really knew. The woman I loved wasn't real. She was a well-rehearsed act. and I had spent 4 years applauding every line. Tyler and I messaged in code. We couldn't risk anything slipping through. No names. No explicit words. Everything vague but understood. He had already blocked her the day after we met. She had tried to reach out 4 times, first by text, then calls, then Instagram DMs. The messages started normal, then shifted into panic. Then came the guilt. She begged for an explanation. He gave her none. I watched her confusion unfold in real time. She couldn't understand why her casual relationship had suddenly ghosted her. She acted like it wasn't serious, like he didn't matter. But her mood shifted fast. She got paranoid, quiet, pacing the apartment more, checking her phone every 5 minutes. Once, I saw her reading old texts and typing something, only to delete it. Over and over. It was pathetic. I waited another week, long enough to let her unravel. Then I suggested we take a weekend trip. We haven't been anywhere, just the two of us, in so long, I said, keeping my voice soft. No phones. Just us. No distractions. She jumped at it. Like a reset, she said. Exactly, I nodded. A fresh start. I could see her eyes flicker with hope. Her posture relaxed. She leaned in, resting her head against me, whispered something about needing that. About how she'd felt disconnected lately and didn't know why. I almost laughed. I told her I'd take care of everything. The spot I picked was an empty patch of private land I found through an old college buddy who ran rural getaways. The place had no cell service, no running water, no paved roads. Just a long dirt trail and a clearing by a dry creek bed. I told Lana it was a minimalist retreat experience. She called it romantic. I started prepping. Loaded a picnic basket with nothing but wine and a pair of plastic glasses. Threw in a thick blanket and her favorite oversized hoodie. She packed a duffel bag with snacks, books, and some yoga mat. I let her. She thought we were escaping the noise. In reality, she was walking into silence. Before we left, Tyler came by. He handed me a thumb drive with a folder of all the messages and pictures she had sent him. I didn't ask how he got some of the recordings. Didn't care. He said, "You sure about this?" I just nodded. No words were needed. The next morning, I woke Lana early. We drove out of town as the sun was still rising. She played her favorite playlist, sang along to songs we used to dance to. She even reached over, squeezed my hand like we were 17 again. I kept my eyes on the road. We passed the last gas station about 20 miles out. After that, nothing but trees and dirt paths. The location pin Tyler had marked brought us to a narrow opening in the woods. I pulled in, parked under a dying oak tree, and helped her out with the blanket. She was glowing. This was the Lana people saw on Instagram. Smiling in golden sunlight, wind in her hair, barefoot in grass. The actress in her final scene. She laid the blanket out. I handed her the wine. Told her I left the rest of the food in the trunk and would go grab it. She nodded, distracted by the way the sun lit up the field. I turned, walked calmly to the car, opened the door, and slid into the driver's seat. She didn't notice until I slammed the door shut. I locked the doors, started the engine. She turned toward me, confused at first. Then she walked over, still smiling, thinking I was being playful. Her smile cracked when I reversed. Then her face twisted when she realized I wasn't stopping. She ran beside the car, shouting, reaching for the handle. I rolled the window up and stared straight ahead. No emotion, no words, just the low rumble of tires on dry grass and the thump of my heartbeat in my ears. She tripped trying to keep up, fell onto her side. I didn't look back. I kept driving until the path rejoined the highway. Pulled over just long enough to toss her phone out the window, still in airplane mode. I didn't want her to have even that comfort. By the time I got back into town, it was nearly dark. I parked a few blocks from our apartment, walked in casually, grabbed a beer, sat on the balcony. I waited until midnight before opening my laptop. The thumb drive went into the USB port. The contents opened like a case file, every lie in high definition. I posted a few key screenshots in our shared group chat. No commentary, no accusations, just a collage of betrayal. Photos, texts, one particular voice note where she giggled about spending the weekend with the real man. One of her bridesmaids left the group instantly. Her cousin replied with, "What the hell is this?" Others followed with shock, confusion, silence. I added a final message. "She's out of town right now. Should be back in a couple days. I'm not waiting." Then I exited the chat and started packing her stuff. Every drawer, every shelf. I stripped our apartment of her. I set aside her essentials, wallet, ID, prescription meds. The rest went into boxes, labeled with duct tape and her name. I stacked them by the door. I wasn't angry. Not anymore. I was surgical. The first night, she probably thought I'd come back. I knew her patterns well enough to imagine it. She'd wait by the blanket, then near the tree, pacing. Eventually, when the shadows crept across the grass and the birds went quiet, she'd begin to worry. That worry would twist into fear when her phone, set to airplane mode, refused to find a signal. She'd turn it off, turn it back on, hold it to the sky, wave it around. Nothing. By midnight, the silence wouldn't feel peaceful anymore. The crickets would be too loud. The breeze too cold. Her wine bottle, half finished, wouldn't comfort her. Her yoga mat wouldn't keep her warm. She'd be shivering in my hoodie, the one she used to steal on stormy nights. And still, I wouldn't come. That morning, I went to the gym like usual. Checked my emails. Had coffee at the same place we used to go to every Saturday. Nothing had changed, except her. Her world had already started to rot. I knew she'd try walking. The nearest gas station was at least 5 miles away through dirt paths, back roads, and unmarked terrain. I had purposely taken the long way around, doubling the distance. Her shoes, those trendy white sneakers she always wore for aesthetic, weren't made for that. The roads were gravel. The brush was thick. Her water bottle was still in the car. That afternoon, I started forwarding things to people. Her mom first, screenshots of the messages she'd sent Tyler, some dating back to before we were even engaged. Her mom called me 5 times in 1 hour. I didn't answer. Then her cousin, her coworkers, her boss, who once invited us to a company gala and told me Lana was a rare breed. Everyone got the same packet. I didn't say a word. I just let her own words do the work. Later that evening, one of her coworkers messaged me privately. Said Lana had lied about everything. Claimed I was possessive, checked out, barely around. She even said I was depressed and distant, that she was trying to rebuild herself by dating again. She made herself the victim. I laughed. It was all so perfectly rehearsed. Like she'd been preparing the script for months. But this time, the audience had left the theater. She was still reciting her lines to an empty room. Around the same time, I got a ping on my tracking app, not GPS, but the security camera feed on our building. I had it set to alert me if anyone buzzed my unit 3 times in a row. It was a habit from when we had food deliveries or guests. I watched the grainy footage. She wasn't there, but her sister was. She stood outside the apartment, reading from her phone, then buzzed again. Her face was pale. She stared into the camera like she was hoping someone, anyone, would respond. I muted it. Back in the woods, Lana would be desperate by now. Not just uncomfortable, genuinely afraid. Sunburned, maybe. Dehydrated for sure. Her second night alone. She'd have tried to find shade during the day, but would have quickly realized there wasn't much. The clearing was flat and exposed. And the bugs, God, the bugs. The one thing I didn't even plan for, but knew would make it unbearable. That night, I changed the locks. Not out of spite. Just logic. I boxed the last of her books. Dropped off her apartment key with the landlord. Paid the final bills. Cleaned the place like I was erasing her. The bathroom drawer, where she kept her makeup, empty. Her wine rack, gone. Even the Polaroids on the fridge, ripped in half and tossed. All except one. The engagement photo. I left it. Propped it on the kitchen table. Face up. Her smile frozen, my arm wrapped around her waist. A perfect lie captured in glossy paper. The third morning, I finally got the call. It came from a gas station payphone. I recognized the number format immediately. Rural area, no caller ID. I answered. There was a pause, then a raspy voice. Hers. She was crying. She kept saying my name. Asking why. Demanding to know where I was. She said she had slept outside. That she'd run out of water. That her feet were bleeding. She screamed that she had almost gotten hit trying to flag down a truck. That she hadn't eaten in 2 days. I didn't say anything. Just let her talk. Spiral. Fall apart. She called me a coward. Begged me to pick her up. Promised she'd explain everything. That it wasn't what I thought. That she still loved me. That we could work it out. I said nothing. Then I hung up. I turned off my phone. When I turned my phone back on 12 hours later, I had 17 missed calls, 6 from her, the rest from her mother, her sister, and 2 friends I barely knew. There were voicemails too. I didn't listen. I deleted them. I already knew what they said. Pleading. Bargaining. The same cycle she'd used with Tyler when he stopped answering. But this wasn't about a side fling anymore. This was her entire life disintegrating piece by piece, and she couldn't control the pace. That afternoon, she came back. I had timed everything. She had no key, no car, no apartment under her name, and now no place to hide. I watched from the building across the street as she approached. Hair matted, face sunburned, her clothes covered in dirt, streaked with mud and grass stains. She looked like someone who had been pulled out of the woods, which, technically, she had. She buzzed the door 3 times. Waited. Buzzed again. Waited longer. When nothing happened, she started banging. She hadn't noticed the paper taped next to the buzzer. Do not admit. Police notified if disturbance continues. She backed away, blinking up at the camera. Her face collapsed when she saw the empty windows. No lights. No shadows. No sound. She sank to the step and just sat there, holding her knees. For nearly an hour. Then she got up and tried the side door. It was locked. She walked around the building. Nothing. Eventually, she found her boxes. I had left them beside the utility room at the back, away from the main entrance. Labeled, sealed, and stacked neatly. She tore the first one open like a wild animal. Pulled out clothes, books, her ruined makeup case. She dumped the contents across the sidewalk, looking for something. Maybe a charger, maybe her passport. Who knows? She didn't find it. Because I had kept it. All of it. She stood in the alley, surrounded by torn clothes and shattered plastic, sobbing. A man passing by slowed down. She screamed at him not to look at her. Then at the sky. Then at the building. I walked away before she saw me. That night, she stayed in her sister's car. I know because her sister texted me. She wrote, "You've made your point. Please just talk to her. She's not well." I left it on read. By then, the group chat was already a graveyard. No one spoke anymore. Her bridesmaids had left. Our college friends unfollowed her. Even her cousin, who once called her the most grounded person I know, had removed every photo of them together. But the final hit came the next morning. Her work found out. Not because I told them. I hadn't planned to go that far. But someone had sent the screenshots to her company's team portal anonymously. Probably one of her friends. Or maybe even a coworker who recognized the double life she was living. Either way, the damage was complete. They called her in. Asked for her side. She denied everything. They opened the folder. She walked out 15 minutes later with her desk packed in a cardboard box. 3 hours after that, her mom showed up at my apartment building. She buzzed every number until someone let her in. I heard her footsteps outside my door. She knocked, then slammed her hand against the wood. "Talk to me," she said. "You don't have to forgive her. Just don't destroy her." I didn't open the door. I just stood on the other side, arms crossed, silent. Destroy her? She did that all on her own. I had done nothing but show the truth. No lies. No exaggeration. No rage. Just facts, lined up like dominoes. She tipped the first one the second she let Tyler into her life behind my back. I just stood at the end and watched them fall. The last thing I did was post a message to her private blog. The one she always used to write emotional reflections on love, growth, and honesty. The message was simple. "You once wrote that what's done in secret always comes to light. You were right." That post went viral. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. Raw. No names. No drama. Just a mirror. People filled the comments with speculation. Others defended her. But most understood. They had seen it happen before. To their friends. To themselves. To someone they used to love who smiled while sinking a knife in quietly. I didn't block her. I didn't scream. I didn't post revenge porn or slash tires or call her family screaming in the night. I let her story tell itself. And it told the truth better than I ever could. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day, and trust me, tomorrow's story, it's even worse than this one.